Today we're talking about this guy right here. This is the Springfield Armory Garrison 1911 chambered in 9mm.
I don't know what he's doing.
So here it is. This is the Springfield Armory Garrison 1911 chambered in 9mm. This gun just came out yesterday. Obviously this video is gonna be posted like a week later, but just know that from when you guys see this gun is about a week old, but I've been using it. So I got to shoot it yesterday a lot, and I had a lot of my friends out on the range shooting as well to test it out.
Outside?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's perfect.
You let me know when?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
That's fun.
Sweet. Now what's cool about this gun is it's a very traditional styled 1911, but this one's chambered in 9mm. So what you get your soft case, you get your 1911, and then you have a 9-round 9mm magazine. Some cool features right off the bat with this guy. The sights are pretty nice. You have a low profile 3 white dot sight, 2 white dots in back, and then you have your 1 white dot up front. You have some low profile grip panels. Stippling seems nice, it's smooth, but the actual grip, the stippling or cuts back here, very aggressive. It really helps keep a good grip on that gun. Smooth on the front over here. Overall, it's a very, 1911s have a good feel. I'm a big fan of the feeling of 1911s overall. So you do not have ambidextrous safety, but you do have an extended safety lever over here. Makes it really quick to engage that safety and disengage that safety. So I do like the extended safety levers. You also have an extended beaver tail in the back, very nicely shaped. It's very rounded all around, very comfortable. It keeps the tip of this hammer nested in there pretty well. You have a skeletonized hammer also over here, and then you have some of those kind of semi-skeletonized trigger. I guess you just have those 3 holes, pretty traditional holes for a 1911. Serrations in the back are very aggressive. You don't have any serrations up front. It just has that traditional 1911 look to it. So this one is stainless steel. They also do make a blued version of this too. There's a couple questions that I just kind of want to go over, and one of those questions is going to be, why a 1911? The nice thing about 1911s are there are no other guns that perform like them. Now what I mean by that, and before you get all pissy about it, 1911s are very unique. The trigger mechanism is unlike any other guns. I'm sure there are other guns that have similar triggers, but most guns, when they have that trigger, they have a pivoting trigger. So even if that trigger is very light, even if the trigger is very crispy, it's still not going to necessarily compete with the 1911 trigger. So right here, if you look at the 1911 trigger, it's a straight back pull. There is no pivot on the trigger. So a lot of people get really spoiled with that 1911 style trigger pull. I totally get it too, because it's a very comfortable trigger. I've fired many 1911s, and I love that straight back trigger pull.
It slows me down when I try to do that.
Another nice thing with a 1911 is a very thin profile of a 1911. That's why you also have a single stack magazine, which kind of sucks, and I'm not a big fan of the lower capacity of 1911s. But that really thin firearm makes it really nice for concealment as well. It's a relatively beefy and heavy gun, but it's very thin grip. Makes it nice for shooters that have the smaller hands, but even if you have a large hand, it's a relatively long grip. That's kind of why some people like 1911. Some people also obviously preference. Some people just love the design of a 1911. Some people just love the looks of it. They love the feel of it. And you can't argue with people's preference. Let's talk about another thing. Why 9mm? Some people think a 1911 in 9mm is pathetic. And I don't mean it that way because I don't, but some people don't like the idea of a 9mm in a gun that's designed to be a 45 ACP. My whole thing is the 1911 is a heavy gun. 9mm has a lot less recoil impulse than a 45 ACP. In my opinion, they're both very manageable, so that's fine, but the 1911 in a 9mm has such a low recoil, it takes this thing down to feeling like it's a 380 or even like a 32, something like that, where it's just a really light round, light recoil. So you have the performance of a 9mm, which a modern day 9mm is a very effective round. You have the performance of a 9mm with a recoil of something like a 32. It does not kick like a standard 9mm. It feels a lot lighter than it would from a Glock or something like that. So very comfortable recoil impulse. Now, since this is also a 9mm, that slide weight is very light. It doesn't need to have that stout spring, that stout recoil spring from a 45 ACP round. So if you have a newer shooter, somebody like that, they can easily manipulate the slide without much effort. And that's very nice. And I think it's a great training tool, or somebody that just wants to enjoy the light recoil of a 9mm, why not? So 9mm do move a lot faster than 45 ACP. So even though the bullet may be skinnier, a smaller bullet, it's still shooting faster and has more range, all that stuff, than a 45 ACP. Whether that's important to you or not, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool though. I'm a big fan of 9mm rounds, if you haven't noticed. I do have several 45s, including a couple 45 ACP 1911s as well. So don't worry, I have the traditional round. So let's talk about quality of this thing. The fitment is excellent. There's really no jiggle between the slide and the frame. Takedown is very simple, just like a traditional 1911. Gotta watch that recoil spring so it doesn't pop out on you. This 1911 does not have a full-length guide rod. It has that short little stubby guide rod and then your recoil spring right here.
Let me know when you're rolling.
Oh, I'm rolling.
Oh, he's rolling the whole time, baby.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm not that fast. Hey, Steve. I'm out.
This thing seems very well built. Now, this does not belong to me. This was borrowed from True Shot Gun Club. This just came out from Springfield, so they sent it to them, but they're letting me borrow it to do a review too. So that's kind of the relationship with Springfield and myself on this guy. Quality is excellent. I don't see any machining issues or errors with this. I don't see any kind of burrs, sloppy machinery. The slide is nicely polished. It's just dirty from shooting it so much. I haven't cleaned it yet. Overall, it feels nice. There's no slop between the receiver and the frame. It's a very tight fitting, has that hand fit feel to it. So overall, very nice gun. Basically, you have your traditional 1911 A1 style gun with certain parts of it that are upgraded to increase performance to make it more of a practical modern day gun. So it's a great fusion between a classic design with modern upgrades. So I want to give a shout out to some people that did try this out though. So John and Kurt from True Shot Gun Club, they let me borrow this thing. I had Jonathan with Tactical Toolbox try this out, and I had Steve with Alpine Arms try this out, and Mike with Tactical Considerations try this out as well. So everybody seemed to take to it pretty well. Very comfy shooter, very comfy gun. Overall, that's it guys. Hope you all enjoyed this video on the Springfield Garrison 1911. It's a great gun. It seems to perform very well. It's a 9mm 1911. So that's it guys. Thank you all so much. I'll see you later.